So hello, I am Young Tae Kim, Secretary General of the International Transport Forum. I have with me Leuschner, CEO of Tier Mobility, to talk about micromobility. Lawrence's firm is known for the shared e-scooters it operates in many cities and its commitment to make them a truly climate-neutral way to travel in cities. Tier is also a valued corporate partner with whom we are working on various projects. Today, I prepared 3 questions to Lawrence, and Lawrence will answer those questions one by one. So Lawrence, the climate change cannot be stopped without decarbonizing transport. Do you agree?
I agree 100%.
Okay, but science tells us that time is quickly running out. And what are your company's solutions for getting to net zero transport emissions?
Great question. So my answer is, first of all, Tier's mission is change mobility for good. And that already shows that in our roots is that we want to decarbonize our cities. So we want to build the most sustainable mobility company in the world. The question is how we're going to do that. So first of all, if we replace cars in our cities by electric and shared vehicles, we reduce the carbon emissions on every kilometer that a person travels. So if you look at a car, it's like 200 grams CO2 versus a scooter, which is only 40. So you already can see the difference between 240, how much you can actually save if you move from a car to a micromobility vehicle. The other question is how we can make this business model from our side, so micromobility, most sustainable. And we have been through an exercise of almost now 3 years of optimizing each part of our company. If it's supply chain, reducing the carbon footprint, reducing the energy that we use for our scooters, switch from normal energy to renewable energy, increase the lifetime, resell the old scooters, reuse the batteries. So we went through an enormous effort at all fronts. So part of the DNA is to really create the most sustainable mobility company. And therefore, I'm very positive, but I'm also very ambitious about that not only us, but also other companies are going to follow the route of really creating a net zero mobility company in our world.
I really like your ambition. And by the way, the COP26 conference in November in Glasgow aims to set a path for more rapid shift to zero carbon in all sectors. What are the main challenges for the transport sector and what are the opportunities in your view?
So first of all, the timing is extremely critical. I mean, we're talking about solutions that should help us in the next 10, 20, 30 years to get to net zero. But I think the problem is now. So we have to act now and we have to find solutions how we can reduce the footprint of CO2 on every kilometer travel. And that is an ambition that needs to also be shared not only by private companies like us, but also by the governments, that we can work closely together. And we have seen in COVID, when a crisis is really there, we turned it into an opportunity to reduce CO2 emissions, to actually build a lot of biking lanes, that we use that momentum and then create an infrastructure very quickly that we can rebuild our cities around people and not around cars. So I see in general more opportunities than threats. So I think this is a huge opportunity, but also we need the regulatory framework to make that happen. And therefore, I think working with the governments closer together, sharing best practices, seeing how we can actually improve, what are the experience that didn't work, what are the things that work really well, so that we have a common framework with the forum here that we can bring forward to all governments and implement it in a much quicker time than we might think about.
Great. In fact, in this morning's discussions, the totals that the 3 factors, the innovation and infrastructure and regulation have to go together. So I think that's a very important point. And my final question is on micromobility industry. And this industry is still young and evolving very fast, even younger than the ITF. And what are the main regulatory challenges for the industry right now?
The main challenges, I would say, is the commitment to actually go through that change, the commitment to really make the change happen. We have a few cities that are at the forefront who are really putting their actions into place. So reducing car spaces, deploying more biking lanes, banning cars of the center of the cities. So I think there's already great examples, but I think we have to see that it's happening in more cities and just in a few innovating cities like Paris. So that's the first thing. So we have to build infrastructure across Europe, across the world. The second one is we are facing also a regulation challenge. So we can have the innovation by the private companies, and we can build the infrastructure, as I just explained, hopefully faster than we maybe have thought. But the very important challenge is now the regulation. So we are in a fast-pacing environment where a lot of things are happening, and we don't have yet the setup to really regulate the markets. So we are seeing places there are too many private companies trying to get into the market, which reduces the quality of the overall product. It increases the friction for the cities to regulate more and more. So I think it's going to be very important that the cities have a framework that they can regulate the markets in rigorous tenders and choose the best players so that they can ensure the quality. And I think that's a general challenge, not only for a country, that's a general challenge for all kinds of cities across Europe. And I hope that the forum here is bringing forward the idea of a general regulation that gives the cities the chance to regulate the market by tenders. So that's how I see it's the main challenge for the industry right now.
Yeah, we all have ambition, and we know that nothing can really happen tomorrow or in a week, but it takes time. But we should continue to work together, and through the global platform like ITF, and I think a private sector and the public sector can really interact with each other and discuss more interesting and important issues. And I think by doing so, we can really produce a lot of outcomes together, very positive for future mobility. So thank you for your time, and I think we can keep in touch and we can work more closely together.
Thank you very much, Young Tae Kim, and I enjoyed the conversation, and I definitely hope to see you soon in person and participate in the roundtable to figure out how we should create a more sustainable future. Maybe not in weeks, maybe not in months, but hopefully in a year.